So next we're talking to Kelly Holthus, the scion of a well-known California racing family. Kelly is a junior at Tulane University and has All-American status. He was first in his regional conference in both the Open Team and Open Fleet Championships, and he's also a top 10 finisher in the World's Junior Snipe Championships. So net, a very accomplished young sailor. But what I wanted to talk to him about is his extraordinary experience in offshore racing, specifically the Transpac, of which I believe he's completed already at least 5 aboard BadPak, the Boatin 56, skippered by his father, Tom Holthus. Kelly, welcome to Sailfaster.
Thank you, Peter. I'm happy to be here.
Great. It's great to have you. So tell us about the most recent Transpac. I know you just got back a couple of weeks ago. Any good standout moments or stories you want to share?
Yeah, well, this Transpac, I think you'll hear from a lot of people, is a very unique one, as most people got their spinnakers up within the first 36 hours, kind of 2 days of the race. Normally, kind of for those who may not know, it'll be like you go upwind for a day, you'll crack off a little bit, be tight reaching for another 2-3 days, and then maybe 4th day of the race, if you're on like a kind of bigger, faster boat, then you'll get your kite up and you'll start downwind running. But this year we had our kite up within 36 hours, in fact on hour 31. So it was awesome. It's like you're running with 5 to 7 degrees of heel. It's way more comfortable. The boat's more fun to sail because you kind of get to surf the waves a little bit rather than just blast reaching. And I mean, there's nothing like it. I was asking pros around at the trophy ceremony, and I'm like, have you ever sailed a Transpac where you get the kite up on day 2? And never. So one experience I heard where they had the kite up within the first 2 days was it was storming in LA, and they set the kite up. They set the kite for the start, and then they took it down after a few hours. But no one else has ever set a kite within 36 hours and then kept it for the rest of the race. So it's super cool, and it made a really fun race out of it.
So I know you're the bow. Did that give you more work or less work?
It's hard to say. We still kind of went through that cycle of like, okay, we're going upwind, we put a reaching sail up, we put it on a strut, then eventually we get the kite up, and instead of that being over the course of 4 days, we do that all in the first 31 hours. So I was very busy for the first 2 days. But then after that, it's like once you have a kite up, unless there's a big wind change, it stays up, which is nice.
Fabulous. So we're going to get more into Transpac in a few minutes. But first of all, let's go back to your origins. When did sailing and racing really begin for you?
I'd say the first time I started sailing on my own was at San Diego Yacht Club's junior summer camp. And it was great. I was 7. It was just to learn to sail. And then very quickly after that, kind of the next summer, you move up, you're sailing by yourself, and you start racing pretty quickly because that's what's fun. That's why we're here. And then kind of by age 10, I got to what we call A division in Naples Sabbats in Southern California. And I kind of started racing younger, so I moved up very quickly. And that was really fun. It kind of got me into racing and ignited the fire.
It does sound like you had a really difficult childhood racing sailboats in Southern California.
Yeah. I mean, having to spend every day on the water, whether it's surfing in the afternoons or racing sailboats in the morning, it's like...
All right, we got to stop this right now. No, it's brilliant. But when we had a chat about this a couple of days ago, you said something really interesting, that when you were at Tulane really helped you understand how to get a campaign together, how to get a team together, how to get yourself organized behind a campaign, right?
Yeah, so I guess any program kind of emulates the same thing that college sailing, college sports, and specifically Tulane sailing does, is you need to recruit the right people, you need to give them a program to practice, and then you need to let them race and see how they do. And you just keep repeating that, keep repeating the cycle, keep bringing in people, keep practicing, and then keep racing and just learning from there. And my head coach, Charles Higgins, is really, really into finding the right personnel for the team. It's like you could be the best sailor, but you have the wrong attitude for the team and you're not going to fit in right. It's just not the right mixture. He doesn't want you. That's kind of it at the end of the day. And he's looking for people with different skill sets to bring different things to the team. And kind of looking at Transpac when me and my dad started thinking about who we want on this team, it's the exact same story.
So that really rubbed off on you, didn't it? Because then you started working on getting a team together for the Transpac. You talked about, reaching out to people to pull a team together. But before we get there,
Yeah.
What age were you when you did your first Transpac?
I was 12 years old. That was back in 2017, and my dad had a Pack 52 at the time, and I was just along for the ride. During the day, I'd come up and maybe hold a sheet, drive for a little bit, but I was definitely along for the ride. I was a bit young looking back on it, but I wouldn't give up that experience for the world. I've been doing it ever since, and I've done it Transpacs every other year. So I did it when I was 12, 14, 16, 18, and now 20. And each year it's like I'm doing just a little bit more. When I was 14, I'd stay up at nights. When I was 16, I really started like sailing the boat at nights and doing a lot. I'd say 16 was when I first was like helpful, and like I wasn't just an extra person on the boat. I was like a crew member. And now I'm up on the bow and helping lead up there. I don't need a mid bow or other bow guy. I don't need to wake them up. And it's great. Yeah.
So let's talk about preparing for Transpac. I think you said the other day that you guys start preparing 2 years out, which sounded pretty reasonable. What does that prep look like?
The conversation starts pretty much right when we get to the finish. It's like, okay, Dad, like, what do you think? You want to do it again? He goes, no, of course not. That was not fun. Then you get a Mai Tai, and he's like, okay, I think I could do it again. He wasn't super stoked 2 years ago, and was just like, I'm not having that much fun anymore. It used to kick a little more, and something's got to change. What is it? Different boat, different team. And I'm like, well, I know a lot of kids my age that are kind of jealous and dying to hop on a boat, get on a program like this. And he's like, okay, that's something we should think about. Like, I'm growing up, my friends around me are growing up. Let's see if we could get some kids on the boat. And I say kids, but I mean, we're all in college at this point and adults. So I reached out to 15, 20 different people around my age, anywhere from like 18 to 30, and was just like, hey, what do you think of this idea? Would you be interested in being on the boat? And that's kind of how it started. It was just like, my dad wasn't having fun. What can we do to change it? And that's how we started this 2-year process.
There's a couple of things to talk about. One is that shift from having some pro sailors on board that you talked about before to having a team that are more sort of college age kids. That's quite a big shift in all sorts of ways. But when you pulled together that team of people, what were the kind of criteria? What was the mix that you were looking for?
I'd say there's like purely just looking at people on the boat. There's a couple different things you have to look at, and this is something I got from my coach Charles, where it's like, you could be the most skilled sailor, but how are they gonna do when they're 1,000 miles offshore at night and something goes wrong? So you have to think about just skills that they come with. Can they repair a sail? Do they know how to navigate? Are they an excellent trimmer? Are they like a speed guy? Like what's their deal? And then also thinking about their attitude. What happens when something goes wrong? Are they kind of like a, hey, like, don't worry about it. Let's just move on to the next thing. Keep the boat rolling. Along with that, their personality, like, are they fun to be around? And just they're great at the end of the day. Can they handle it? Are they going to enjoy it? Because if you're not enjoying it, then why are you on the boat? And then it's a huge time commitment too, is just finding people in college, just out of college. Like, all my friends have summer internships, going to school, taking summer classes. How can they commit the time to be able to practice and go offshore for a week?
Yeah, I suppose it's that measure of somebody that they're cold, wet, it's the middle of the night, something's gone wrong. It could be quite frightening. It requires mental and physical strength, obviously. And it's something that you're not really tested in normal life until you're in that situation. And I know that I think most of the people who you picked had not done a Transpac before, right? And I know you had some father-son combinations, which is really interesting.
Well, this year not only did we have some father-son combinations, we had a father-daughter combination. Jon Gardner and her daughter, my teammate Sammy Gardner, did the race with us, and she was awesome. frankly, when I was writing this down, like thinking about what characteristics we want, grit. She was the example of grit. She pushed through it, and I mean, had a hard role on the boat, being the only girl. And it's like she can't just go pee off the back. It's a little extra for her. And major props to her.
Fantastic. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing test for people to do that for, 9, 10, I know it can be 11 days sometime to be on a boat. I can't think of anything else outside maybe sort of extreme hiking or the military where you're in
Yeah.
that situation, right? Where you have to do a job and bond and that sort of thing. So that's terrific. So one thing I'm curious about is the sort of difference. You've done this before, a few times now, and you've done it with pros, and now you've done it with a team of essentially college age sailors and their, one of their parents sometimes. But what were the key differences there in how the team operated?
The biggest difference that I think you could feel on board was just the energy that kind of the kids brought. And it's so different. I mean, it's all of ours, or it's a lot of theirs first time on the boat, first time doing an offshore race. And it's like, whether we're practicing or we are 1,000 miles in the ocean, they were so freaking excited to be there. They had no issue getting out of the bunk in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. It's cold, wet, and they're excited. They have a smile on their face. They're like, okay, we're going to go racing. Like, let's do it. And that was amazing. It's like, no matter what, like, we might have lost some experience with some of the older pros on board, but we gained it right back with the excitement brought by the kids. And, like, with less pros on board, we didn't really have them making decisions, because usually it's about one pro per shift, and it's like they can't just make every decision. What kite to have up, where the staysail should be, do we need to go to a reef? So that kind of left us. It's like, okay, our polars are low. Let's do a driver swap, see if that helps. Okay, that didn't help us. Let's get a different trimmer on. Like, well, shoot, we're not going faster here. We got to get up to speed. Like, we can't just be going slow. It's like, okay, well, let's figure it out. It's drop below 10 knots. We got to get one of our staysails down. We're just pushing the limit of the 825. We might have to go peel to an 82, and these are just conversations we're having. We don't just have someone that's done the race 25 times and sails 50-foot boats every week to just be like, yeah, why are we on an 825? We should 100% be on an 82. Like, the loss from the sail change is negligible compared to the gain we'll have from a better sail. And we just don't know that. So it's like, okay, we're going slow. What do we have to do? And we're talking through it, looking at we have our crossover sheets printed out and laminated on deck. So it's like, okay, someone go look. Let's look at the wind direction and look at the wind speed. It's like, okay, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's change it. And we're making that call all the time, which is something completely different. Normally it's like, hey, you on the bow, go put up the A2. Versus now I'm back here, like, guys, we're going slow. Let's fix it. And it's not just me. It's all the kids on board doing it, and everyone on board. Which is really, really cool to be a part of that conversation.
And well, there's nothing better, is there, in terms of learning than doing it yourself rather than somebody showing you how to do it. And I found when I've had pro sailors on my boat, just sort of, to help us in races where we were allowed to do that I didn't learn much because they sort of take over, make decisions and tell people what to do. And so if we did quite well, it wouldn't quite have the same value to me. So I do understand that.
Yeah, and I love that point too. So I'm very proud of my winning record on Transpac. I'm 3-2, so I've kept it above the 500. But I'd say this is the first Transpac where I really feel like I've helped to win it.
I mean, it's paid off, right? You were first in your class.
Yeah, we won Division 1 this year, and we're super proud of that. We were fastest monohull under 60 feet as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm really intrigued by the fact that your bow on this very large boat. That's a busy job, and so what's that like at night?
I mean, that's a great question. I think most people would expect it to be way worse at night. It's terrifying, dark, can't see anything. I'm the exact opposite. I would way rather go to the bow at night, go out on the sprit pole, because when you look over the side of the boat or you look down at the sprit pole, it's just black. You don't see rushing water going by. It's way easier mentally for some reason. It's like, okay, I could do this. This is easy.
That's really interesting. That because you couldn't see it, you can't fear it. You
Yeah,
don't fear what you can't see.
yeah. And we're probably about 5 days into the race, and we've had a kite up for 4 days now, and we burned through our first spin sheet just before sunset. And it's like, shoot, like I have to go up to the clue of the kite and do it. I've never done it before because this is my first time kind of like leading bow. And I get Artie Means, who's our navigator, but he's also a very talented pitman. He's like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. Go up the shroud, and then you're gonna push out, grab on the clue of the kite. I'm like, great, let's do it. And then by the time I'm all set up, I have my harness on, I'm ready to go. Pitch black. And I was like, okay, this is honestly better. I have my headlamp so I can see, but at least when I look down, there's nothing below me. It's like there's no water rushing by. It's like I'm just in a black hole, just kind of floating in space, and I'm fine with that. You don't have to think about what happens if you fall in. You don't have to look at water rushing by. You don't have to think about landing. It's like, okay, you just go out there, do your job, and then have a rope attached to you. They pull you back in, and there you go. You have a new kite sheet, and problem solved. One thing I want to add too, so I've been kind of saying that I've been leading bow. I'm technically bow. I'm in number 2 on the boat. We have Ryan Mazella, who's like a San Diego local legend, really starting to make a name for himself on the bow. And we found during our practice days, because we had about a week worth of practice in 2 separate sessions before, that he was just like so good at communicating back and forth to the bit, because we're 30 feet away. It's hard to hear, and kind of your mid bow 2 is the one communicating. It was easier for me to be at the pointy end, hooking up the tack and all that, and have him communicating. So I kind of took on the role as bow 1, but he is by far the leader and has taught me so much. And I want to give him credit. I don't want to keep saying I'm leading the bow without shouting him out and without showing gratitude for how much he's taught me.
Well, you just did it.
Yep. There we go. Okay, now I can go back. I'm going up to the clue. I'm going out on this bow spread. I'm getting sails up and down, but not without him.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing about any team, any offshore team, and even club racing, right? You're so reliant. It's a chain and a team, isn't it? So
yeah,
great. One thing I want to ask you about, I always ask people about that approach to the islands. I've never done Transpac, obviously, but people tell me that you can smell or feel the islands. You get closer. Is that true for you?
Yeah, so I remember when we called earlier, you asked me about that, and you're like, oh, can you smell it? And I think I was kind of like, oh, yeah, maybe you smell it. I thought I don't smell it. I don't smell it. You can feel it. There's an excitement in the boat. Like, everyone's ready to get off it. Everyone's racing that much harder to get there. I don't smell it, but like the boat gets excited. The water's warm. The clouds are starting to clear up. You're getting some sun. And it's like, everyone's just racing so hard. And that's like, in previous Transpacs, I've had trouble sleeping during the day when you get close to the island. But we go out there and we give it our hardest when we're on shift, even when we're like 18 hours out. And you just hit your bed and crash because you're so exhausted. But that's the biggest thing is you just notice the energy kind of start to raise back in the boat. It's like you start the race, it goes up. Middle of the race, it starts to go down. People get tired, even with the kids on board. But then once you're getting close, it's like the energy rises and people are pushing the boat hard again, wanting to get there.
So Kelly, let's go back to before the race and your preparation for it. Were you ever able to get the whole team together? Because these are people from all over the place. I would imagine that was quite difficult. Did you do practice races with some of the team? How did that work out?
Yeah, I mean, exactly just what you said is we're not able to get the whole team together. We all have our own schedules, whether it's jobs or sailing regattas, and but it was just about getting everyone on the boat at different times. Like we did a couple hot runs in San Diego, a couple local races, a couple local distance races in Southern California. And if we could just get everyone on the boat like 2 or 3 times leading up to the summer of Transpac, then it's like, okay, everyone's comfortable. And then that first week of June, we're all on summer break. We get everyone to come down to Los Angeles and San Pedro to come in practice, and we spend 3 days up there just going through everything. We finally have everyone on the boat. We need to make sure we're a well-oiled machine before we go offshore. It's like we don't want to have to think about how we're going to do something when we're tired and it's at night in the middle of the ocean. It's like thinking about like what could go wrong here. Let's figure it out. So we're practicing putting reefs in the main, a second reef in the main, kite up, kite down, all the basics, jibes, tacks, and it's like just out there doing it till we're all exhausted, spending 4 or 5 hours on the water. And it's like there are points where I'm just nonstop moving because the second we get one sail up, the only reason why we have it up is because we have to wait till me and Ryan can get the next sail ready to go up and the one after that. So where it's 3 hours, we just have not stopped running back and forth, bringing sails to the foredeck, getting them up and down. And then we had that practice session, went great. Didn't break the boat, didn't break anyone. And we have our next practice session leading up to the race. And everyone gets to LA a few days early. We have 3 days of practice scheduled. And my dad got an email from one of our teammates that he had mono and can't do the race anymore. And it's like, what do we do now? Do we sail with 9 people instead of 10? Do we find someone to replace him? Do we get a professional? But we had just found out that our boat captain, Matt Smith, his son just graduated from the Merchant Marine, Cal Maritime, up in Northern California. And he had done the race twice, I believe, on their 70-foot offshore boat. And he was working on a ship all summer. He gets back. He gets back the day before we start practicing from Korea, where he was working on a naval merchant marine ship. And it says, yeah, I'll do Transpac with you guys. So it's the exact same. And my dad said, because it's great. We have another kid on board, another father-son duo. And he is huge and strong. And it made my life great because I never had to carry the massive R1 up to the foredeck. And I was like, his name's Cooper. I'm like, hey, Cooper, like, help me out here. And he's like, just grabs it with like one arm and throws it. And I'm like straining my back. I'm a small guy. I'm 5'6". But it was great having him on board. He was a last minute add. And he was the third father-kid duo.
Yeah,
in addition to me and my dad, and then Sammy and her dad.
So I know you, even though you're a junior in college, you're a veteran of the Transpac. What was your biggest takeaway from this one?
Well, I'd say it's the fact that we had 4 kind of like young bucks on board, me included. And that when me and my dad first had this idea to get a younger generation doing it, is people were kind of like, are you sure? Seems a little sketchy. You're going to bring inexperienced hands out in the middle of the ocean. What happens if it goes wrong? You can't do this. I'm not going to sail on the boat like if you're doing this. And people just kind of called him and I crazy. It was bold. And I think it paid off. And that's my biggest takeaway, is that we had this crazy idea and we did it. We made it happen. Even with losing a teammate right before, and just things being thrown at us, it's like we're able to pull it off. And I think my dad is super stoked because he put together that program, and I think he's proud to take in a bunch of younger kids my age and give them that experience. And that's my biggest takeaway. And I'm happy to like see my friends doing it too. It's way more fun doing it with like people I choose to be around every day.
But once you've done this, Kelly, there aren't many things in life that you can't tackle.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The race to Hawaii, even though it's long and you're in the middle of the ocean, it's pretty comfortable. You're going downwind. It's warm. But I mean, we'll see what's next for me as I kind of get out of school and have a little more time to do some offshore sailing. There's a couple bucket list items I want to get to eventually, whether it's hopping on as a bowman for some other program.
What are they? What exactly is on your bucket list then?
Sydney Hobart is one that's on my list, and it's on my dad's, and he talks about it a lot. So to be able to do it with him eventually would be great.
Yeah.
Fastnet, Caribbean, the Caribbean 600 sounds pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to do Newport to Bermuda just to just to say that I've done it. I know it's a super famous race. But I think at the end of the day, I've never done any other Southern California, like to Mexico races.
Newport Ensenada is the big one, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Or San Diego to Puerto Vallarta.
This is fantastic. I mean, all power to you. You have an amazing sailing sort of CV already, and I can see you're going to be doing a ton more in the future. So thank you for taking the time to share this on Sailfast, and come back. We'll do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Thank you for having me. I hope to bring some more stories for you next time and keep you updated with what I'm doing around the world.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kelly. Good sailing.
Thanks.